Why should they read Quran and pray Fajr? Why should they pray and read Quran? Huh? Is that a good enough motivator for a 7-year-old? I'm just asking because I want to get to,
No, not for a 7-year-old, for like young adult.
Sure, okay. But still, even so, right? Like, what does that mean? It's an obligation. Like, why are we saying it's an obligation? Okay, where? No. I'm not trying to be rude. I honestly want to open up the subject because it's a very common thing, right? We focus so much on what you have to do, right? So my question is, why do we think we have to do it? Because again, I agree with you. Allah commands us to pray, right? I agree with you. But what does that mean if Allah doesn't need the prayer? What does that really mean? Because kids are smart, right? You have to pray. Okay, but mom, you said Allah is, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ لَمْ يَلِدْ. He doesn't need anything. So why do I have to get up at Fajr and worship Him? He doesn't need me. Huh? See? So I'm on to something, right? And it's a longer discussion, right? And I'm opening it up because we all care for our deen, we care for our family. I get it, but we have to, as adults, I think we have accepted and inherited a lot of beliefs, and we haven't actually done deeper research and understand spiritually why we even do what we do. We do. You know what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doesn't He complain about the Quraysh? We do what our fathers did. Sah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes that's not a good trait. Wallahi, even if you're Muslim, it's not acceptable for you to say, my parents were Muslim, so I'm Muslim too. Khalas, I don't have to think or research or learn or develop any of that. I just do what my fathers did. Ghalat, wrong. It's also wrong. You have to be Muslim by choice, not by chance. Because tomorrow, when they go to college and they leave off, they may not be Muslim. Because they don't know.
Yeah, that's what he said, the same thing that you say. This is my choice. I'm not going to, what if I don't say it in the future, in the college? So should we believe the way we say?
Well, my next goal, inshallah, and hopefully with the help of ICE with MCA, is I want to offer an Islamic psychology class. Because I believe that there has to be an integration between how the human thinks and is motivated and how our mind and our heart works and how the religion can be implemented into that. In other words, the why questions, right? Why do we do what we do? Okay, because let's be honest, all of us here, it's unlikely that we did like thorough research and figured out, like, why do we pray 2 rakahs, then 4, then 4, then 3, then 4? Have you ever asked a question? Of course, the Prophet taught us that. Really? Where? Show me exactly where it was said like this. Because it's not in the Quran, right? So, and I'm not questioning the tradition, but I am, right? Because I'm basically trying to bring to light is we have to think deeper about these things. And we also have to put in our own effort. Because it doesn't look good if you're a mom or your dad and you say, you have to do this. And then your son or your daughter, they grow up and mashallah, they're aqil now, they have more intellect, and they ask a very good, hard question. You don't have the answer. Guess how that's going to make you look? And more importantly, how they're going to feel like this religion that you're trying to make me do, it doesn't add up. And slowly their faith, their attachment, their connection withers away. And meanwhile, on top of it, my life is boring and I don't get to have fun and everyone around me is having a great time and I'm not allowed to touch or look or hang out and all I'm yelled at for is because I didn't pray Fajr. Yani, this is what's going on, right? It's not an easy story, but it is a story that we're helping write as parents. So, and again, it's a very big subject, but what I'll leave you with is we have to take that responsibility and that sincerity to ask why. And to strengthen our own iman and faith. It's not enough to just inherit it. My parents did it like this, so we do it too, and I make you do it too. Right? And start with, you think as a mother, why are you telling your kids they have to pray if Allah doesn't need his prayer? If you can't answer that question for yourself, then maybe it's a little too soon to make your kid do it. Because again, I just want to say, because no, so seriously, because some people might think, oh, what is this guy saying? Let's just look at the prophetic example. Huh? For 10, 11, 12 years, there was no prayer. True or not true? No prayer. It was all about iman, love of Allah, social change, akhlaq, consciousness. That's it. Salah came after these people were transformed to anchor them and keep their spirituality organized. We do the opposite. We say, do this, do all the rituals, but we don't teach them where the substance. We say, we want to see the eggshell, but we don't give them any of the yolk. No nutrients, no color, no flavor. Okay, fine, Allahu Akbar, this and that. And then they're just doing it for you. They're not doing it for Allah. Right? So we're doing the opposite sometimes. Not everybody, but some of us, we do the opposite. So how we need to think about, reapproaching and using the example. And I don't believe there's, converts that I know and stuff like that. It's like as soon as they take shahada, you can't expect them to be praying 5 times a day, MashaAllah, if you can do it, Allahu Akbar. May Allah increase you. But take it easy. Not everyone is going to grow in the same way. And that includes your children. Some children, mashallah, they're like, I'm down with this, right? I want to pray with Baba. Others, they're going to question and be curious and be like, why? Doesn't make sense. And that's sometimes Allah's way of saying to you, you need to reassess your own iman. Because if your kid's giving you feedback and calling you out, then that means that maybe we have to grow too. Like we said, Allah is perfect. You always have room to grow. Even if you're an adult and you have gray hair and you went to Harvard, there's still stuff you're going to learn. So maybe it's Allah's way of reminding us that we always keep growing, inshallah, and Allah knows best. Right. So basically, developing a perspective of gratitude no matter what. And it's true. Gratitude is, it's one of our saving graces as a species. Finding shukr. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly says, if you try to count the an'am, you can't, really. And we can start with something as simple as just the body, how your body works, right? Like there are people, for example, their eyes don't produce natural tears, like what you and I take for granted. You've been sitting here blinking all night. Some people literally are dropping drops all day. Some people can't hold their bathroom. They can't. The muscles in the area, just everything's out. They have to live with a diaper, right? So some people, there's so many things, complications that can go wrong. You have billions of cells and all kinds of organs working together just to keep you functioning and sitting here without feeling pain. You take that for granted. You don't think about it, right? So there really is a lot, and it's like when you start thinking on that level of deep reflection and sincerity and gratitude, wallahi, the biology test next Friday, you're just like, dude, if that's my biggest problem, alhamdulillah. Yes, please.
Allah doesn't need our prayer, so basically we need it.
Yes.
So the punishment that comes from not worshipping, is it right to say that it's self-inflicting punishment?
Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does say in the Quran, whenever you transgress, you're only oppressing yourself. Right? So, again, I'm not a mufassir, okay? I'm not a scholar, I'm not an imam of Islam. I'm a psychologist and I'm a student of knowledge. That's all I got for you. Okay, I'm just a guy who's sharing his opinions, okay? But, I think that the language of the Quran is very powerful, and we shouldn't always limit it to just a literal understanding of things, okay? So, for instance, anyone here ever had somebody, break their heart or really hurt them personally, right? Doesn't it burn? It burns, right? You feel, has anyone here had so much pressure and stress in their life that it felt like there was a mountain on their shoulders, right? We use these expressions to describe feelings and states, right? But it's not like, oh, dude, I saw Amir the other day, the guy had a mountain on his back. Did you see that? Right? No. but he felt that way, right? Or I'm burning inside. I'm in so much pain. I can't take it. I'm on fire. Okay? So we have to understand that, these descriptions, yes, they're very powerful. Okay? But sometimes they are also reflections of what we are doing to ourselves. So in a way, it's almost like Jannah and Nar and these types of things, you can almost look at it as it's going to be an amplification of what you're already doing. Because who are the people that Allah describes are going to be in hell? They have very specific descriptions. I'm sorry, it's not somebody who is missing prayer necessarily. It's not. Allah never says in the Quran, if you miss prayer, salah, you're going to go to hell forever. It's not there. He talks about Fir'aun and Thamud and Abu Lahab, and these are very specific, evil people. Right? We have to be very clear about this. You can't just throw the hell card around, especially with your kids. You don't know. Huh? So we have to engage with the Quran and really be, we just have to know the divine conversation better, right? Because there's nothing that says that. You're going to go to hell if you don't pray. That's up to Allah, okay, what He wants to do. And everyone has their journey, okay? It's not like everyone has to be perfect and exactly the same, because you're not going to be perfect. And guess what? You're also not going to go to Jannah based on your deeds. We know this, right? You're not. You can't earn Jannah. Allah gives you Jannah as a gift, right? You never get to a point you're like, yeah, mashallah, check out my account, bro. I got so many points, sunnah and fasting. I've got a beard. I even wore sunnah for 3 years straight, the thing and that. No disrespect to anyone who does that, but my point is this mentality of I quantify my spirituality, it's not going to work, because you don't know what Allah even records for you and how much something you didn't think was a big deal, maybe that's the thing that saves you. Because again, we have so many examples. We have a prostitute who gave a dog water from her shoe because she was thirsty and saw the dog was thirsty, and Allah forgave her. The whole life, she was doing all that stuff for years, and Allah forgave her from this. And then there's also a woman who locked up a cat and was so brutal to just an animal, a cat, that most of us in our countries is whatever, we'd kick them and run them over if we need to pull up to khutbah, right? And Allah punished the woman. The last thing I wanted to point out, though, is one thing I've discovered in my own personal journey with the religion is that everything that you do for Allah, it's inclusive of benefiting you. Right? When you do things for the sake of Allah. Follow? You get your own, you feel, and this is, I think, one of the beauties and rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is He's made, because you're naturally good, He's made it that when you do good, there's an internal reward mechanism, right? We feel good when we do something with ihsan, right? You feel good when you see, my wallet fell and you come after me, hey, brother Karim, you dropped your wallet. Oh, thank you, akhi. There's such a beautiful thing that you did. And you feel good, right? When you smile to somebody and they smile back, it feels good. Allah made it so that good things feel good. And that doesn't mean you're being selfish. It's actually Allah trying to show you that this is the natural reality of things, right? And that's why when we do things that are bad, we feel bad. And when we witness something that's bad, it's not a good feeling. So it's one of the mercies of God. Because some atheists say, oh, you guys just do good things because you want a reward from God, right? It's basically you're just doing it to get something out of it, an incentive, right? But they fail to see that part where, no, you feel good because it's good in and of itself. It's not just because I want Jannah or just because Allah tells me to do it. It actually feels good, right? And it's aligned with the sacred word. So I'm going to close with that, and the last thing